The envelope arrives just before dawn. I don't hear the knock. I never do. Silence has been my world since the night my pack tried to tear out my voice. I woke up without sound, without strength, and without a future, until now. A golden wax seal glows against the pale morning light, the royal crest of House Arden, the crest of the white Lycan King. My fingers tremble as I break the seal. You are selected as a candidate for the moon. Choosing 10,000 women will compete. Only one will be chosen. That one sentence steals the breath from my lungs. Choosing 10,000 powerful she-wolves, daughters of alphas, warriors, healers, elite bloodlines. And then there's me, Ilara. Thorn, rankless, voiceless, an omega they forget exists, until they need someone to blame. I stare at the invitation. They say the white Lycan King, King Kaelin Arden, is ruthless and untouchable. His fur turns silver-white beneath the moon. They say he can crush armies with a single command. They also say he doesn't believe in fated mates. Rumors, legends, lies, none of it concerns me, because I don't stand a chance in this competition. I don't need a king, I don't need a mate, I just need freedom. Away from the alpha who made my life a nightmare. But the invitation includes a promise. Whoever wins becomes queen, and her pack receives royal protection. My heart stops. Royal protection. If I win, I can finally save the only person I care about, my little brother, Aaron. The alpha uses him as leverage to keep me obedient. But if I become queen, he will never touch Aaron again. I pack nothing except a thin journal, a broken locket, and the memory of Aran asleep next to me last night. Silence surrounds me, comforts me, defines me, until I step outside and meet glowing headlights, a limousine waiting at the gates. 2 royal guards bow their heads. Lady Ilara Thorn, one says, voice deep and sharp. His Majesty awaits. I swallow nervously and climb inside. The car drives through forests and icy mountain roads until we reach a fortress carved into white stone and moonlight. A kingdom in the clouds. When the doors burst open, 10,000 women stand in shimmering gowns. I feel like a shadow, invisible, silent, forgettable, until I feel it, a scorching sensation on my skin. My mark burns, my instincts. Scream, he's here! A tall figure appears on the balcony above. White hair flowing like moonlight, eyes like eternal winter. The white Lycan King, King Kaelin's, gaze sweeps over the thousands of girls and freezes on me. For a moment, I'm pinned under the weight of those eyes. Dangerous, unreadable, cold. His lips move, soft enough that only a werewolf could hear. But I read them perfectly. Why can't I hear your heartbeat? He looks unsettled. Why would a king care about a silent omega? I don't know. But for the first time in my life, someone powerful notices me. Not because I spoke, but because I didn't. The ballroom feels like a battlefield. Silk gowns swirl. Perfume mixes with fear. 10,000 she-wolves. Each one beautiful, fierce, flawless. All trying to catch the gaze of the man who just locked eyes with me. Me. The silent omega. I force myself to look away, pretending the weight of his stare doesn't burn through my skin like silver fire. A horn echoes, loud, sharp. The entire room stills. Candidates, a royal announcer declares. The white Lycan King will personally evaluate your worth. A ripple of excitement surges through the crowd, followed by whispers of desperation. He only looks at warriors. No, he wants a Luna who can lead armies. He doesn't believe in mates. He'll choose whoever benefits the throne. I stand still, invisible among a sea of ambition. A guard steps forward and hands everyone a parchment. Rules of round 1. Challenge 1. Silence. Whoever speaks will be eliminated. The king values discipline over beauty. Silence. The irony stings. The others must force themselves quiet. For me, silence is survival. I take the parchment in trembling hands. The women around me look confident, some even smirk. I've trained for years to control myself. One growls, but I see her eyes flick toward the king on the balcony. Hunger, desire, possession. They don't want the crown. They want him. The king's advisor steps forward. You will walk, one by one, past his majesty. If you speak, if you flirt, if you scream, laugh, beg, or gasp, you're out. 1,000 emotions swirl through the crowd. Panic, excitement, terror. The line moves. The first girl steps forward, a powerful alpha's daughter. She walks as if she already wears the crown. When she reaches the king, she bows deeply, and then she whispers, "Your Majesty, I would—" A guard slams his spear to the ground, eliminated. She is dragged out, screaming. The room goes dead silent. Another girl steps forward. Another. Some cry. Some try to speak, some faint from nerves. The king doesn't react. He sits like carved marble, flawless, emotionless. I'm next. My heart beats so loud I feel it rattling my ribs. Step. One step closer to him. Step. My palms sweat. Every instinct screams to run. Step. I can feel his gaze on me before I look up. I finally lift my eyes. The world stops. Those pale, relentless eyes study every inch of me. Not my dress, not my face, but my silence. The closer I get, the heavier the air feels. My throat closes, my mind races. Why is he looking at me like that? No, not looking. Listening. As if he expects my voice, as if he's waiting for a sound I cannot make. When I stop in front of him, I bow. Slow, controlled, perfect. His voice cuts through the stillness, deep and dangerous. What is your name? I open my mouth. Nothing comes out. Of course. His advisor steps forward impatiently. She can't answer. She must be intimidated, Your Majesty. Kaylin doesn't blink. No. Her heartbeat changed. She's trying. Heat rushes to my cheeks. I point to my throat, then to my lips, trying to communicate. He watches every movement, then slowly stands. The room gasps. No one expected the king, the white Lycan, to leave his throne. He steps down from the platform, walks toward me, and stops only inches away. He's taller than I imagined, stronger, more dangerous. Up close, he smells like winter air and storm clouds. You cannot speak, he says quietly. Who hurt you? My breath escapes in a silent gasp. How does he know? His hand lifts, slow enough to avoid frightening me, and his fingers lightly graze the base of my throat. His touch is warm, gentle, completely, at odds with the cold king everyone fears. My body trembles, not from fear, from something I don't dare name. The court watches in disbelief as he steps even closer, lowering his voice to something only I can hear. You stayed silent, while others broke. You win round 1. A bell sounds. My name appears on the giant crystal scoreboard above the hall. Elara Thorne, passed. Thousands of girls gasp. I take a step back, but he catches my wrist. Not rough, not demanding, just enough to stop me. Don't disappear, he murmurs. I haven't finished listening to your silence. My heart stops. For the first time in my life, someone doesn't just see my silence, he hears it. Their eyes always give them away. The greedy ones, the desperate ones, the ones who want the crown. Not the man who wears it, but her eyes are different, Elara. Thorne, the silent Omega, watched 10,000 women break under the simplest test, silence. They fidgeted, they panicked, they needed attention, but she stood still as winter. Like silence itself was her second skin. I should not care. I am the white Lycan King, chosen by the moon goddess to lead, not feel. Yet the moment she stepped forward, a single thought carved itself across my mind. Don't touch her. Don't speak to her. Don't let her disappear. Now she stands across the ballroom, surrounded by women who would slit her throat for a chance to replace her. The Omega who cannot speak, yet says more with her silence than any of them with their words. My beta, Ryan, appears at my side. She passed, he states. You want her in the next round? My jaw tightens. She stays. He follows my gaze to Alara, tiny, fragile-looking, tucked into the shadows with her journal pressed to her chest. Rian scoffs. She's weak, Kaylin. No. Weak is the alpha who needs noise to prove power. Weak is the warrior who shouts to hide fear. Her silence is a weapon. Before I can respond, the lights dim. A spotlight hits the center of the ballroom floor. The announcer speaks. Round 2 begins. Strength must be proven. You will fight until only 5 remain. Gasps, screams, panic. Alara freezes. Fight. She can't fight. She has no rank. No shift training, no voice to call for help. Rian leans closer. Do we remove her? She'll get slaughtered. I give a slow shake of my head. She participates. For what? He demands. She's an Omega. I turn to him fully. Voice low, dangerous. She survived in a world designed to crush her. That alone makes her stronger than all of them. The Sal. Floor transforms. Marble splitting into circular combat rings. Pairs are formed by random draw. Alara's name appears beside. Candida Valor, daughter of Alpha Valerius. Trained warrior. Candida laughs loudly, a laugh dipped in cruelty. Well, she sneers, stepping toward Alara. The mute mouse wants to be queen? Alara flinches back, notebook clutched to her chest. Candida rips it from her hands. Pages scatter like feathers. I asked you a question. Candida smirks. Oh, that's right. You can't speak. She pushes Alara to the ground. Not one guard moves. Not one woman helps. Alara kneels, gathering her pages silently. Her hands shake. Not from fear, but from trying to hold herself together. Something primal stirs inside me. I grip the balcony railing so hard cracks form beneath my fingers. Touch her again, and I will level this palace to the foundation. Candida circles her like a predator. You thought your pity story would win the king? She hisses. You're nothing. You don't deserve to even look at him, Candida. Raises her hand to strike. My vision turns white. I leap from the balcony in wolf speed, landing between them before her hand touches. Alara's skin. The room falls silent. Someone screams. Candida freezes, face draining of blood. I don't snarl. I don't rage. I simply say, voice like ice. She may not speak, but I do. I turn slightly, just enough so Alara can see me, so she knows she is not alone. Then I announce loud enough for every creature in the hall to hear. If you strike her, you strike your king, gasps, shock, fear. Candida falls to her knees. My king. I didn't know. You didn't need to. I interrupt. You should never harm the defenseless. A beat of silence. Then, I deliver the sentence. Candida Valor. Eliminated. Guards drag her out screaming. Alara remains on the floor, clutching the scattered pages, eyes trembling with confusion. And something darker. Not fear, not gratitude. Something like disbelief that someone, anyone, would defend her. I bend down slowly, gathering the last page of her journal. It is smudged with tears. Her writing is small, careful, painful. Freedom isn't a place. It's safety. I swallow. Hard. She doesn't want a crown. She wants to survive. I help her to her feet. She refuses to meet my eyes. Alara, I say quietly, returning her journal. You are not invisible here. Her fingers brush mine. A soft spark shoots through my veins. Bond. Fate. Terrifying. Her eyes lift. Brown. Storm-touched, filled with silent fire. And a single tear escapes. Not of weakness, of rage at a world that never gave her a chance. I lean closer. Voice meant only for her. Round 2 isn't finished. The real challenge begins tomorrow, and I'll be watching only you. Her breath catches. My wolf growls one word inside me, ancient as the moon. Mate. The palace is breathtaking in the morning light, white marble glowing as if the sun itself bows to it. But I hardly see any of it, because every time I blink, I replay the moment from last night. The white Lycan King, Kale, chose me. Not the noble daughters dripping in wealth, not the warrior-trained Omegas with perfect bodies. Me, a silent, powerless girl from a forgotten village. And today, the competition officially begins. Whoever wins becomes the Luna Queen. The other 9,999 contestants will do anything to destroy me. The servant assigned to me, Ina, pulls open the balcony curtains. Ilara, she whispers, hesitant. The other competitors. They are furious. The palace halls are heating with rumors. Rumors, threats, lies, all because the king looked at me. Because he chose me. Ina braids my hair, her hands trembling. You should reject him, she murmurs. Nothing is worth becoming the obsession of a Lycan King. I wish I could speak. Wish I could tell her that I didn't ask for this. But instead, I simply nod. When the palace guards escort me to the training courtyard, heads snap toward me. I am no longer invisible. Envy burns in every pair of eyes. One girl steps in front of me. Amara, a beta's daughter. She's stunning, tall, confident, dripping gold jewelry. You really think you can compete with us? Her lip curls. A mute nobody? I swallow, keeping my hands clasped tight to hide their shaking. She flicks her hair, deliberately bumping into me, her voice rising loud enough for everyone to hear. King Kale only chose you out of pity. You will never be Luna. I lower my gaze, but not from fear, from restraint. Someone suddenly moves between us. A shadow, a presence. Him, Kale. The entire courtyard goes silent. The Lycan King faces. Amara, his voice dangerously low. Insulting a chosen contestant is a violation of the rules. He steps closer. And insulting my choice is a personal offense. Amara pales, swallowing hard. She bows and flees. Kale turns to me, his voice softening. Not for the crowd, but for me alone. Did she hurt you? I shake my head, trying to step back, to reclaim some space between us. But he closes the distance again. Slow. Deliberate, I told you, he murmurs, his silver eyes holding mine. I see everything. The intensity in his gaze makes my heart hammer. No man has ever looked at me like that. Like I am a secret only he wants to read. Competition Round 1, Survival. Obstacle corset. Isn't simply running or climbing, it's survival, designed to expose fear, weakness, strategy, a whistle. Blows, the contestants surge forward. I hesitate when I see the suspended rope bridge stretching over a cold river below. I take a step, my palms already damp. Someone shoves me hard from behind. I fall, barely catching the rope. Legs dangling, gasps erupt around me. I know who did it. Amara smiles sweetly from the platform ahead. My heartbeat roars in my ears. Cold panic rises. My fingers burn. Hold on, Ilara. I pull myself up with sheer will, one painful inch after another. I reach the other side. Breathing hard, limbs shaking. Kale watches from the balcony, expression unreadable, until our eyes meet. Pride, admiration, possession, all firing in the depths of his silver gaze. My chest tightens. Why? Why does he look at me like that? After the challenge, when my legs nearly give out, a warm cloak settles over my shoulders. Kale again. You're trembling, he murmurs. I point to my throat. Trying to communicate I don't need help. He steps into my space. Too close. I don't care if you can't speak, he says, voice rough. I understand your silence, better than anyone in this palace. My breath catches. No one has ever spoken to me like that. He lifts my chin. Gently. You survived the hardest part of the round, he whispers. But now comes the real danger. His thumb brushes my jawline, the jealousy of those who fear you. A shiver races down my spine. He leans closer, so close I feel his breath. against my ear. I don't regret choosing you, he says, and I never will. I close my eyes. Just for a moment. I let myself believe him. Just for a moment. I let myself feel something I shouldn't. Because if the strongest male in the world has decided I am his, then every enemy in this palace has decided they will destroy me. Morning comes, but peace does not. The palace echoes with whispers. Why her? She must have used dark magic. A silent Omega cannot be Luna. I walk through the grand hall toward the second trial. My footsteps are small compared to the towering marble. Pillars carved with wolves and moon sigils. 10,000 girls entered this palace. Only one will become Luna, and I am the one the king chose, without hesitation. That makes me a target. The second. Competition is not physical, it is psychological. The chamber of truth. A room that shows your darkest memory, your biggest fear, and your deepest desire. No lie survives inside. The High Seer stands at the entrance, her white eyes clouded and ancient. She looks at me longer than anyone else. Her breath sharpens and she whispers, "Your silence isn't your weakness. It's your weapon." Before I can react, she turns and announces loudly, "Contestant 237, Ilara of Crescent Ravine, step forward." My pulse pounds. I enter the chamber. The heavy door shuts behind me. Darkness swallows everything. At first, I hear nothing. Then, crack. A torch flares to life. My childhood home appears before me, the walls I scrubbed, the wooden floor where I used to sleep. Then the screaming starts, my father's. "Voice, speak, damn you! Say something." His hand raises. The memory is so vivid it burns. I flinch, instinctively backing away. But the chamber reacts to emotion. Flames rise. Shadows twist into wolves with glowing red eyes. I squeeze my eyes shut. I am not there. I am not that girl anymore. But the chamber grows more violent. A cold voice slithers through the air. Weak, useless, unworthy of a king. My breath trembles. I want to scream, fight, prove that I am not helpless, but I can't. Speak, I never could, and the chamber knows. It suddenly, footsteps, not from memory, from now Kyle. He storms into the chamber, ignoring the High Seer's protests behind him. "Ilara!" His voice cuts through every hallucination, every memory. He walks straight through the illusions, through fire, through nightmares, as if they are nothing. The chamber tries to resist. Him wolves lash out, flames coil around his ankles. He shifts, just his eyes, silver rings, glowing. The Alpha King doesn't fear darkness. Darkness fears him. He reaches me, his hands closing around my shaking shoulders. "Ilara," he breathes, voice rough with fury and something else. Something dangerous. Look at me, not them. I do. The nightmares fade like mist. His thumb brushes away a tear I didn't know was falling. "You survived this long alone," he whispers, forehead touching mine. "But you don't have to fight alone anymore." For a moment, I forget I can't speak. My lips part, a soundless gasp. Kale doesn't look at my silence the way others do. He doesn't see absence. He sees story. He sees strength. The chamber brightens. The final trial inside appears a mirror. Not a normal one. It shows the deepest desire of your heart. Everyone gasps when they see theirs. Mine is simple. In the reflection, my throat isn't locked. My voice flows like water. I whisper a word. His name. Kale. In the reflection, he hears it, and he smiles. My knees weaken. Kale watches the reflection too, jaw clenching. "Ilara, do you want to speak?" My breath breaks. I nod once. He cups my face gently, voice dark and solemn. "Then I will burn down every kingdom until you have that chance." The chamber doors burst open. The High Seer announces, "Contestant Ilara has passed." She faced her past without breaking. Her heart remains uncorrupted. Gasps, whispers, rage. Amara spits the words, She only passed because the king entered. Kale turned slowly, power radiating off him like a storm. I did not help her pass, he growls. I only stopped the chamber from killing what belongs to me. The hall falls, silent. Belongs to me. My heart thunders against my ribs. No one has ever claimed me. No one has ever protected me. Kale doesn't walk beside me as we leave. He walks half a step behind, guarding me, as if my silence is a crown. When we reach the private corridor, he stops and says quietly, "Ilara, tomorrow's trial is about loyalty and jealousy." His gaze flicks to my lips. To win, you need to trust someone. He leans close, closer than before, his breath brushing my ear. I hope you choose me. My heart races. I don't speak. I can't. So instead, I reach out and touch his hand. His eyes widen, silver burning with hunger and disbelief. For me, that touch is a whisper. I trust you. And the king looks like he could fight the world for that one silent answer. The palace feels different today. Colder. Watchful. Whispers follow me everywhere like ghosts. She's his favorite. He's obsessed with her. She won't survive today's trial. Today is trial 3. The test of loyalty. It will determine who can be trusted beside the king. And nothing brings out true loyalty more than jealousy. Ina, my servant, adjusts the lace collar on my competition dress. Ilara, whatever happens today, don't show weakness, she whispers. Everyone wants you gone. I nod, though my stomach twists with nerves. Not because of the trial, because today I must prove something not just to the kingdom, but to Kyle. The courtyard is transformed into a massive arena. Thousands of spectators watch from terraces high above, waiting like vultures. The competitors stand in a circle. Metal gates rise, revealing massive cages. Inside each cage, wolves, not Lycans, real, ordinary wolves, but starving, agitated, dangerous. The High Seer steps into the center. The trial of loyalty requires 2. Each contestant must choose a partner, a ripple of panic, because every girl wanted one. Partner, the Alpha King. Amara pushes through the crowd, walking toward him with a practiced sway of her hips. My king, she purrs, loud enough for all to hear. Choose someone who can match your power. She places her hand over her heart. Choose me, Kale's. Gaze slides past her without a flicker. He looks at me. Every breath in my lungs disappears. Ilara. He doesn't ask, he commands. The crowd erupts into chaos, shock, envy, rage. Amara's smile cracks like broken glass. She laughs. Sharp and venomous. She can't speak. She can't warn you. She can't lead. You will lose. Kyle turns his head slightly. Silver eyes hard as steel. I do not need her voice to know her heart. Heat rushes to my cheeks. He steps closer, far too close, his voice dropping low just for me. Stay near me, he murmurs. I won't let anything touch you. The trial begins. We stand before the cage. A massive black wolf snarls, forcing its body against the bars. To win, we must retrieve a crest hidden behind the wolf. Once the gate lifts, there is no second chance. My pulse thunders. Kyle leans down, his fingers brushing my wrist, a brief touch, yet it sends lightning up my arm. Ilara, he whispers, give me your hand. I do. He threads our fingers together. Everyone gasps. Kale looks straight into my eyes. You trust me? Don't you? I inhale shakily and squeeze his hand in answer. His pupils dilate. The gate slams open. The wolf lunges. But Kale moves faster, shifting partially, eyes flashing silver. He pulls me behind him, and the wolf freezes at the force of his aura. Do not touch her, Kyle growls. The wolf whimpers, bows, and steps aside. He leads me forward, retrieving the crest without effort. We should walk back. We should finish the trial. Instead, we stand there, still holding hands, as if the world has narrowed to just him and me, but not everyone is done. Across the arena, another pair struggles. Wolves surround them. Amara screams, "Help! Someone help us!" Competitors retreat, afraid to intervene. Kale looks at me. Silent question in his eyes. Should we help her? I could let her fall. She tried to hurt me. She'd do it again, but I cannot watch someone die. I tug gently toward the danger. Kyle isn't surprised. He knew I'd choose compassion over revenge. Without hesitation, he shields me as we sprint across the arena. He knocks the wolves back with his aura, pulling the girls to safety. Amara trembles on her knees. Why? She chokes. Why save me? Kale stands tall looking down at her, because Alara asked me to. Her eyes widen. Fear, realization. He will do anything I want, even spare the person who wants me destroyed. The trial ends. The High Seer lifts her staff. Only one pair retrieve the crest without shedding blood. Only one contestant chose loyalty to kindness, not ambition. She turns to me. Ilara of Crescent Ravine wins the trial. Gasps, screams, disbelief. Kale steps behind me, protecting me from the furious stares of thousands. He lowers his head, close enough that his breath brushes my neck. "You were extraordinary," he murmurs. "I've never admired someone more. My heart betrays me with its pounding." He lifts my hand, still linked with his, and presses a soft kiss to my knuckles. The world stops. I feel it everywhere. My pulse, my breath, my bones. "As long as I live," he whispers against my skin, "no one will ever silence you again." My knees nearly give out. Because he doesn't just protect me. He sees me not as a fragile Omega, not as a silent girl, but as someone worth choosing. Night wraps the palace like a shroud. Silence should feel peaceful, clean, soft, safe. But tonight, it feels heavy, like someone is watching. After winning the trial of loyalty, the entire palace erupted with jealousy. Servants avoided making eye contact, Omegas glared, and noble girls whispered poison behind fans. Even the marble floors felt colder. Ina closes the balcony doors and lights a single candle. "Ilara," she whispers nervously, "be careful tonight. Rumors say someone plans to eliminate competition before the next trial." I freeze. My heart slams into my ribs. I want to ask who, but I have no voice. Ina hesitates, then leans closer. I overheard two girls talking. They said, "Silence makes her an easy target." My hand instinctively reaches for my throat. Easy target. A shadow. A weakness. Something to exploit. Before I can react, Ina squeezes my hand. "I'll stay outside your room. Just rest." But the moment she leaves, a soft tapping hits the balcony door. 3 taps. Not random. A signal. My breath catches. I should ignore it. I should pretend I'm asleep. Instead, I open the balcony doors. Cold wind rushes in. Standing there, in the moonlight, is King Kale. No crown, no guards. Just him. His white hair glows like frost. His silver eyes are sharp, unreadable, burning with something wild. He steps inside without waiting for permission, closing the doors behind him. "Ilara," he murmurs, voice low and dangerous. "Why didn't you call me? Call him?" I stare at him blankly. He runs a hand through his hair, frustrated. "You were trembling today," he says, stepping closer. "Someone tried to sabotage you." I could smell their fear. His tone shifts to a growl. I should have ripped their throats out. My breath hitches. He stops inches from me. "Why didn't you tell me?" I point to my throat. Silence. My limitation, my curse. Understanding. Flashes in his eyes. He lifts his hand slowly, as if giving me time to pull. Away, and touches my jawline with a gentleness that contradicts the lethal power beneath his skin. "You think silence means weakness," he whispers. But silence forces the world to listen. Harder. My chest tightens. His voice becomes Lower. Rougher. I listen hardest. A sudden crash echoes from outside the room. Kale instantly shifts his stance. Protective, feral. A low growl curls from his throat as he moves in front of me, blocking me from the entrance. Footsteps, a shadow under the door. Someone is trying to unlock it. Kyle whispers, "Stay behind me." The scent of fear leaks from the hallway. A metal hairpin slips under the door. Someone attempting to pick the lock. Kale doesn't wait. He yanks the door open so violently it slams. Against the wall, a girl, one of the nobles, falls inside. Eyes wide with terror. "You..." Kale's voice drops to deadly calm. "You tried to enter my chosen's room?" The girl trembles so hard she can barely kneel. I wasn't going to hurt her. I just..." Kale's aura explodes, suffocating the air. "You were going to sabotage her for the next trial." She collapses into a bow. Sobbing, "Please don't kill me, I was just following orders." Kale stiffens. "Whose orders?" Silence. Kale grabs her chin with a single hand, forcing her to look at him. "Speak." "Amara." She blurts. "It was Amara. She told us to scare the mute girl, so she'd quit." Kale releases her with a flick of disgust. "Leave. If you come near her again, I will feed you to the training wolves." The girl runs. Kale shuts the door and locks it. He turns back to me slowly, and the storm in his eyes softens. "I know you don't want to be seen as fragile," he says, stepping closer. "But I need you to understand something." He lifts my hand, placing it against his chest. His heartbeat is fast, furious, alive. When someone wants to harm what's mine, his voice drops to a whisper, too raw to be controlled. I turn into a monster. My breath stops. What's mine? Those words burn into me like fire. He leans closer, his forehead resting against mine, Alara. My heart races so hard, I swear. He can hear it. You are my calm and my madness, my peace and my chaos, my silence and my noise. My fingers curl into his shirt. He exhales shakily. "I've waited my whole damn life for the moment a girl would look at me the way you do." His thumb brushes my lower lip. "You don't have to speak to own my heart. I should step back. I should remember that 10,000 girls would kill to stand here. But instead, I touch his cheek. A simple, silent answer. He freezes, like the world just stopped spinning. "Alara." He breathes. Something changes in his eyes. Not desire, devotion. He takes my hand and presses it against his chest once more. "As long as I draw breath," he vows, voice etched with raw truth, "I will protect you, and if anyone tries to take you from me," his eyes flash silver, "I will bring the world to its knees." We stand there, inches apart, breathing the same air, a silent girl, a dangerous king. Bound together not by words, but by something deeper, something neither of us can escape. The next morning, the palace is a war zone of whispers. Rumors slither through the corridors like smoke. The king spent the night in her room. He threatened to kill a contestant for her. She controls him without speaking. I keep my gaze lowered as servants and contestants stare, some with fear, many with hatred. If jealousy could kill, I would already be buried. Ina rushes to my side, her face pale. "Alara, today's trial will be worse." I raise a brow. Silently asking how, she swallows. "It's the trial of power. Contestants will show their abilities, strength, influence, or magic." My stomach drops. Magic? I have none. I have nothing. All I have is silence. The trial arena is different today. Dark stone, cold torches, the air smells like rain, and blood. Kyle sits on the throne carved from pure moonstone, his expression unreadable, but eyes sharp and alert. The moment I enter, his gaze finds me. He doesn't look at me the way kings look at subjects. He looks at me like I am a secret he has memorized. The High Seer lifts her staff. Contestants will demonstrate the power that makes them worthy of becoming Luna. Bold girls go. First, displaying strength, speed, Elemental skills. Amara steps forward last, smirking confidently. She stretches out her arms, and flames erupt from her palms. Gasps fill the arena. Fire dances around her like a serpent. A fire wielder, someone whispers. She's going to win. Amara bows arrogantly. Thank you, Your Majesty. Kale's face doesn't change. He simply says, Next. The High Seer turns toward me, Alara of Crescent. Ravine, all eyes snap to me, my body, locks. I have nothing. No strength, no magic, no voice. Amara smiles, slow and vicious. Let her fail. I step into the center of the arena, the stone beneath. My feet feels impossibly cold. My hands tremble. Think. I force myself to remember Kale's words. Silence forces the world to listen harder. But what can silence do here? The High Seer's voice echoes through the arena. Show us your power. My chest tightens. Sweat beads at the back of my neck. I stand still. Still, then, a whisper of wind brushes against my ear. Kale's voice, not loud, not spoken, inside my mind. You are not powerless. I gasp, eyes snapping to him. He hasn't moved from his throne, but his gaze holds mine. Fierce. Burning. Power isn't always loud. Sometimes, power is the one thing no one can take from you. His hand grips the arm of his throne. Knuckles white with intensity. Everyone here wants you to fail. So don't. My heart stops. He believes in me, more than I believe in myself. I close my eyes. I think of every time I was beaten for silence. Every time someone twisted my chin, screaming at me to speak. Every time I was called useless. Pain rises. But beneath it, something else stirs. Something deep, ancient, electric. My heartbeat slows. The air around me shifts. The torches flicker. Wind swirls around my body, soft at first, then growing stronger. Gasps fill the arena. The air pressures, not randomly, not wildly, in rhythm with my pulse. The ground vibrates. Someone screams, She's doing that! But I'm not trying. I'm remembering. When I was 6, the wind slammed a door shut when I cried. When I was 10, dust storms picked up whenever I felt overwhelmed. All my life. I didn't have no power. I had too much power. My silence wasn't a curse. It was containment. I open my eyes. Wind explodes outward. Not destructive. Controlled. My hair lifts around me like a halo. Kyle rises to his feet. His expression, not fear, recognition, possession. Wind affinity, the High Seer whispers. A rare element. The mark of lunar prophecy. Amara shrieks, pointing at me. No! She's lying, she's nothing. Kale's voice roars across the arena. Silence. The entire arena drops to its knees. Kyle walks toward me. Slow. Deliberate. His eyes burn like molten silver. He stops in front of me and cups my face gently, reverently. You were never silent because you were broken, he breathes. You were silent because your power was too loud. My breath trembles. He leans closer. So loud, he whispers against my ear, that only I could hear. The arena falls away. There is only him and the wind and the sparks between us. Kyle lifts my hand and presses it to his chest. You are not chosen by accident, he murmurs. You are fated. My knees go weak. His eyes lock onto mine, not as a king to his subject, but as a mate to his destined one. Alara, you are meant for me. A roar of thunder cracks through the sky. The trial ends. No vote. No debate. The High Seer raises her staff, contestant. Alara wins trial 4. She possesses ancient Luna. Power. Chaos, shock, fear, and somewhere in the crowd, someone watches with murderous intent. Amara. Her face is twisted with hatred. She will not survive tomorrow, she whispers. But Kale hears her. His eyes turn to ice. She will, he says coldly. I will burn the world if she doesn't. For the first time in days, I slept without fear. When I opened my eyes, morning light poured through the large windows of King Kale's private manor. The sheets were soft. The room smelled of pine and fresh rain. And for a fleeting moment, I forgot the nightmare we were living. Then reality hit me like a punch. Seraphine, the Blood Mountain, the whispered prophecy. The silent Omega will doom the white Lycan. King! I swung my legs off the bed, heart racing. Kale wasn't beside me. He had left before dawn, preparing his warriors to confront Seraphine tonight. My throat tightened. What if I was the reason Kale died? A knock interrupted my spiraling thoughts. The door creaked open and Kyle entered, wearing dark armor trimmed in silver, his white cloak flowing behind him. He looked like war personified. Power, authority, a storm wrapped in skin. But when his eyes found mine, they softened. You're awake, he said gently. I nodded. You're going to her. He didn't deny it. She used forbidden magic, Kale said. She wants the throne, and she wants you. He crossed the room, cupping my cheek. Because she knows you're the only one I would die for. My chest squeezed painfully. You can't fight her alone. I won't. He brushed his lips against my forehead. You'll be with me, I froze. Me? I'm a silent Omega. I can't even shift. Kale tilted my chin up. Aurelia, you think silence means weakness? But your silence has dethroned nobles, shattered traditions, and made a king kneel. He dropped to one knee. My breath caught. I don't care about the prophecy, he whispered. If destiny says you ruin me, then let me be ruined by you. He stood and offered me his hand. Outside, warriors waited. The white wolf banners rippled in the wind. The entire realm seemed to hold its breath as Kale helped me climb onto his giant white wolf form. His fur was soft beneath my fingers, warm and strong. We left the castle. As we crossed the snowy mountains, memories flashed. The pit where I was locked, the cruel laughter of nobles, the moment Kale pulled me out of that darkness. I tightened my arms around his wolf form. I will not lose you, I whispered into his fur. He growled. A vow. Hours later, we reached the Blood Ridge Temple. Seraphine stood on the ancient stone steps, crimson gown flowing like spilled blood, eyes glowing with a twisted hunger. A king, she sneered, brought to ruin by a mute girl. I stepped forward, fists trembling, and for the first time, I spoke, not loud, not powerful, just a whisper. His name is Kale. My voice echoed like thunder. The mountain shook beneath us. Magic burst from me, pure, blinding light. Seraphine screamed, stumbling back, shielding her face. Kale shifted back into human form and caught me before I collapsed. His arms wrapped around me, grounding me, protecting me. You spoke, he whispered, stunned. I wasn't silent. I looked up at him, tears streaming down my face. I was waiting for someone worth speaking for. He crushed his mouth to mine, fierce and desperate. Snowflakes melted on our skin. Magic hummed between us, like two souls recognizing home. But behind us, Seraphine rose again. Her voice was venom. This isn't over. Kale turned, shielding me with his body. With her beside me, everything is over for you. The world blurred into white light. I felt weightless, like my soul had slipped out of my body. Yet Kale's hands were still on me, grounding me, holding me as if the universe itself couldn't pry us apart. Seraphine rose again, her eyes crazed, her magic twisting the very wind around us. You think this is love? She spat. He will die because of you. Kale shifted instantly, placing himself between me and her. No one touches her. Not fate, not destiny, and definitely not you. His voice was thunder. Seraphine lifted her hand, dark flames spiraling toward us. Kyle roared, shifting into his massive white wolf, and lunged. But before he reached her, something inside me snapped open. A force I had never felt before rippled beneath my skin. I stepped forward, heart pounding. No fear, just clarity. I am not weak. A sudden wind surged from me, swirling snow into a blinding vortex. My hair lifted, silver threads glowing like moonlight. I didn't know what I was doing. My body moved on instinct. Seraphine shrieked as the light enveloped her. "You are nothing," she screamed at me. "No," I whispered. "I am the queen the moon chose." The vortex tightened, then shattered. Seraphine was thrown backward, crashing into the ancient altar. The magic sigils beneath her dimmed, flickered, and died. Silence. Snowflakes drifted softly around us as she slumped to the ground, powerless. Kale shifted back into human form and stumbled toward me, chest rising rapidly, eyes wide with awe and fear. "Aurelia," he breathed, voice shaking. You have magic." I swayed, suddenly lightheaded. Kale caught me before my knees touched the snow, wrapping his arms around me as if he feared I'd disappear. "I thought I'd lose you," he whispered against my hair. "You won't," I murmured. "Not now, not ever." He pressed his forehead to mine. "You saved me." "No," I whispered. "You saved me first." Days later, royal coronation ceremony gold banners fluttered from the towering balconies of the White Palace. People from every pack crowded the courtyard, cheering as Kale walked down the aisle, dressed in white armor and a cloak trimmed with pale fur. But their eyes weren't on him. They were on me, the silent Omega. Now walking beside him as his future queen. Kale squeezed my hand. "Ready?" I laughed nervously. "They're staring." "They should stare," he murmured, leaning down. "You're the most beautiful thing this world has ever seen." My cheeks burned. The crowd roared as we ascended the marble steps to the moonstone throne. The Elder Council lifted the crown, pure silver, shaped like crescent moons, and set it gently upon Kale's head. "Bow," the Elder announced. "To your Alpha King," the crowd roared in unison. "Long live King Kale." Kale turned to me, eyes shining. He dropped to one knee. My breath caught. He held out a second crown, smaller, elegant, laced with white diamonds. "Be my queen, Aurelia," he whispered. "Not because fate wrote it, but because I choose you, every single day." My throat tightened. "Yes," I whispered, voice steady and clear, stronger than it had ever been. "I choose you too." He stood and placed the crown on my head. The crowd exploded into cheers. Kale kissed me, slow, reverent, claiming me in front of the world, and then a howl rose from the crowd. One wolf, then 50, then hundreds. Soon, the entire courtyard echoed with the sound of wolves bowing to their queen, to me. Epilogue. 1 year later, the palace garden glowed under the moonlight. I sat beneath the flowering cherry trees, reading, when warm arms slid around my waist from behind. Kale kissed the back of my neck. "Wife," I smiled. "King." His hands rested on my stomach, still flat, but we both knew what that meant. "You're carrying our pup," he whispered, voice trembling with joy. "The moon has blessed us." I turned in his arms. "I don't care if it's a boy or a girl," I whispered. "They will know love." Kyle brushed a tear from my cheek. "They will know power," he corrected gently, "because their mother changed the destiny of kings." He kissed me again, slow and sure, just as fireworks burst above the palace, painting the night sky. And under the moonlight, surrounded by the wolves who once doubted me, I realized something. I had been silent my whole life, but now the world listened when I spoke.